This video is brought to you by McDonald's. Be sure to get some today, my pretties, and watch out for that gay clown from the Barney Bunch known as Ronald the goddamn Pingus Clown. Now let's begin with the show. Hello my pretties, my name is Drew Pickles and today I will be explaining the reasons why I declined starring in Burial Ground The Nights of Terror. This movie came out in 1981 and it was a year before Rugrats was even in production. Now you may be scratching your heads wondering, why did I not star in this movie? Well, you see, let's go back to the year 1981, shall we? It is around the time before my show was in production a decade later, so I was in Italy with my wife Charlotte Pickles, and this was way before the production of The Lion Sponge. While in Italy with Charlotte, she was at a spa with her friends, while I met up with the director Andrea Bianchi in Rome at a hotel. He asked me if I was interested in being in a new zombie movie called Burial Ground. I asked him in what the plot of the movie will be about, so then Andrea Bianchi ended up explaining to me the plot of the movie. I decided to jump the shark, and even tell my friends from the Burial Ground universe about this. They hoped that I can be in this movie, so I began to talk to Andrea Bianchi and even asked him if I can make changes as well as explain to him on how the movie should go. He was at first annoyed but then said, "Alright Drew, go ahead." And that is when I began to explain the plot of the movie, but just with some very super duper swell changes. The beginning of the movie will have Professor Ayers unleashing a curse that causes the dead to walk the earth, but instead of him dying he becomes the Great Cornadillo. Yes, the same gauge that Beavis does from Beavis and Butthead, so some funny stuff will be swell. As Professor Ayers leaves, as the Great Cornadillo, he will also be asking for TP for his bunghole. The scene will show the three couples along with myself in cars heading for the mansion, and the radios in the cars will be blasting classic 60s, 70s and 80s music. Once we get to the mansion, George will be at the gate hearing Professor Ayers saying that he is the Great Cornadillo and needs TP for his bunghole. George will be confused and asked what was going on, but the gate opens regardless. As we drove on inside, we see Kathleen the maid and Nicholas the butler helping us get our stuff in. As we head inside, however, Professor Ayers will still be making noises and keep saying that he is the Great Cornadillo and needs TP for his bunghole. The next scene will have Michael, the son of George, and Evelyn will be sleeping, while Evelyn, George and I were wandering around the mansion. As we wandered around, George and I decided to do some prank calls to random numbers. Most of them were from pizza places, and then we called a person named Harry Sack just to piss him off, to which it was funny. Then Evelyn would tell us to call some YouTubers, so we did that, although YouTube did not exist back then, but oh well. The next scene will show James and Leslie both getting it on, to which I will not go into detail on that, as I do not want this video getting too NSFW talk in it. While that goes on, Evelyn and George would shower together, while I explore the mansion, because I want to. I would also see Mark and Janet talking about stuff they want to do, although this one scene that would be swell to appear, but that would have the movie a bit too long, to which it will involve me going at it with Janet and Mark would join in on the fun. The first night wasn't anything special, just some swellness funny, and even Professor Ayers being the Great Cornadillo at parts of the mansion, to which Kathleen and Nicholas being confused as to why he was acting like this. The scene with the zombies wandering will also be cut out, as they barely have to do with anything of this film in my version. The next scene cuts to the couples doing their own thing, with Janet and Mark getting photos around the yard, while James and Leslie go one direction opposite from them. George and Evelyn along with Michael will also be exploring a section where the professor found some interesting model stuff, so I will be exploring outside of the mansion. While exploring, I did catch Professor Ayers still being the Great Cornadillo, to which I have no idea how much longer he will be like that, but whatever, it is my version of this movie that I am explaining. Everyone will get scared by the sight of zombies, so the scene of everyone running away from them will be the same, except no one dies in any of these scenes. The scene where Mark and Janet were running away will also stay the same, but instead of getting stuck on a bear trap, they would see a pitfall to which they will avoid it and not fall in. Also, Mark would end up getting a bucket of paint dumped on himself and Janet, and they were cursing like no tomorrow, to which they were like, "Godfather fucking damn it, who the fuck is the prankster for this?" As they both said that, the scene will also show Leslie and James getting a bucket of garbage dumped on them, and boy, they smelled so badly. It seems that someone was a prankster, and they had to find out who the prankster was. Evelyn with George and Michael ended up getting temporarily stuck in rat glue trap, but with me there to help them, I got them out of the trap and we all raced back towards the entrance of the mansion. Professor Ayers would be come by this time saying that someone shaved all of his hair including his beard, and say that someone is pulling pranks on us and whoever is doing this has to stop, as they were not funny. I was even pranked by having hot sauce being squirted in my eyes, to which that stings a lot. Surprised that wacko isn't here to eat hot sauce. The next scene, where Kathleen gets killed by zombies at the window with her head being decapitated. Well, this scene would be replaced by Kathleen getting pranked by the zombies by having a spider jump on her face and she screams so loudly that you would need earplugs. However, James got the spider off of her and closes the window. Kathleen said that she hates spiders, and however the prankster is that did that, it was not funny and they are gonna get it. The next scene will show Leslie walking in the hallway when someone was doing the funk shaker at the window. What the fuck? Please cover your ass, I do not need to see that, Leslie would say, as however did the funk shaker took off and was out of sight, so Leslie would act like nothing happened and continued in. George and I would be having coffee, when our coffee was actually cooking oil and it tasted awful so we spat it out. The scene where Janet tries to fight the zombies when she is limping and cornered will be changed into something more swell. The scene where Janet is alone in one room of the house, she ends up slipping on a banana peel and crashed into a bookshelf, where she was covered in ketchup to which made her steamy made. Who is this prankster pranking us? I need to know right now, as these pranks aren't funny. That is where Mark and Nicholas turned to see it was Fatty Bear who was the one pulling pranks on the guests of Professor Ayer's house and he would laugh saying these pranks are funny. That is when Evelyn and I would chase after Fatty Bear with threats to the Wiggles box. While chasing after Fatty Bear, Michael would fall through a trapdoor to which he will be covered in mud. Eventually he was helped up by his friends and cleaned off. Eventually me and Evelyn lost Fatty Bear but did see some zombies and killed them as well. But when we got back in the mansion, Evelyn along with Kathleen, Leslie and Janet all got emails saying that they needed to pay Fatty Bear $8 million to call off the pranks. But the girls knew it was a scam so they weren't falling for it. However, earlier, James would be using the bathroom, as he ended up drinking spiked coffee to which he will have tons of diarrhea in the bathroom. While in the bathroom making a mess, Fatty Bear will be sending videos and images of gay porn to Nicholas, Mark, James, Professor Ayers, George and myself and we looked to see who was the one that sent that stuff. It was Fatty Bear who sent it all, and this made us so angry that James wants to throw him into the Wiggles box. We have to catch Fatty Bear, or else he will keep pranking us. As James said that, we all had an idea to which we will lure Fatty Bear to a model builder's workshop to which we will ambush him with the best prank he will never expect. The scene where Nicholas sees his zombified Professor Ayers will be changed to Nicholas getting kicked in the nuts to which it will be funny. The scene where the 4 survivors were at a monastery will also be altered. As we headed for the building, it will be us seeing zombies that were already killed and it had to have been Fatty Bear. He shows himself to us and Mark wasn't happy and so was everyone else. You think these pranks were funny? Well, they are not, as we men were disgusted when you showed us gay porn to which we aren't into that, so you will be getting a beating from us. As Mark said that Leslie smirked as well as the girls when Fatty Bear farted in Michael's face as well as spat in Leslie's face and then runs off. After that Bear, I will say, as we all then headed after him. While chasing Fatty Bear, Evelyn would see him locking us out of the model builder's workshop. Fatty Bear, this is crossing the line, none of these pranks are funny. Kathleen would say, as we all would be fidgeting around with the door to get it open. While we were doing that, Fatty Bear sent some photos of NSFW stuff to Janet to which they were gross videos that she did not want to see. You have done it, Fatty Bear, wait till I kick your ass. Janet will say, as we eventually got the door to open and we would block Fatty Bear's way out. He would then see a door in the set upstairs so he will try to open the door to that escape route but fails as he superglued it earlier, so he isn't getting away. Well fuck, it looks like I am trapped. Fatty Bear said, as we all ended up beating the crap out of him like a bunch of high school fights to which Janet kicked his nuts, while Leslie punches his face, as Evelyn grabbed his phone and shoves it up his ass like Harry Sack did. As soon as we finished using Fatty Bear as a punching bag, we would send him back to the Barney Bunch universe, where he will be in the Wiggles box, as the Wiggles there will teach him a swell lesson. The ending of the movie where Janet and Mark dies will be changed to all of us celebrating at the hotel, so I will also get it on with my wife Charlotte, Janet, Leslie, Evelyn and Kathleen, so pretty much all the ladies including the men would all get it on in a NSFW fun time. The whole scene would sound like The Lion Queen saw this film back in late 2012. Wow, the women in this movie is so hot. It seems like a lot of women like the swellest bisexual boy Morris man in the universe. And now for the biggest finish of all. Peg, that was swell. After that swell scene the movie would ended there. After hearing the plot of the movie Andrea Bianchi was shocked and asked me in what did that have to do with the zombies despite them being in the movie. I said to him that the movie needed a happy ending so I provided him one. But however, the zombies aren't the main villain, as I wanted Fatty Bear to be one, that is, where Andrea Bianchi said that this movie will not be like what I said earlier, as most of it made no sense and the zombies are not even there. I got so mad that I told him to find someone else so I left the project of the movie. Janet and her friends were sad that I declined my role in the movie, but they wished my version of it was made better than what the director had in store for them. But I do wish this movie became a TV series in the 80s, maybe a fan-made animation series of this may happen someday, you just will never know what will happen. Charlotte was disappointed that Andrea Bianchi did not like my plot of this film to him, but I just enjoyed my time in Italy with my wife regardless. Well, that version of Burial Ground of what it would be, if I starred in it was super duper swell. I think I will watch this film right now. See you later my swell pretties. If you are new to this channel, please leave a like, hit the subscribe button as well as ring the notification bell to when the Lion Queen uploads a new video. Also be sure to follow her on DeviantArt as well as her Twitter account, if you are interested in following her on there. Also be sure to subscribe to her backup channel known as Mrs. Dark Shadow, as links to that as well as her DeviantArt and Twitter will be located in the About page section of her channel. And take care my pretties and we will see you all next time.